Hey there, welcome back to the table. Okay, there was a couple feedback points that were made in the very first video, which was like the first impulse of the game, second impulse, etc. One of them, if you recall, was we got defeated here, and the situation was this. And I said that, okay, move after combat, these tanks would not move because this is moving away from the objective. Now, the argument that was being made is that, yeah, but they get to move 2 spaces, so they would eventually move closer to the objective. And that is true. So they would go like this, and then like this, and then this one would go like that and like that. And then we would get to number 4 here, and he would move in, and then he would roll a die to see if he advanced again. And if you recall from the first video, and you probably don't, but I was able to go back and rewatch it, we rolled a die, and it was for this guy at the time, but we failed the die roll. So he would not have moved again. So the problem is that they don't advance. Okay, so now we're going to go to this one, and we're going to roll a die to see if he'll advance into that space. And the answer is yes. Now we're going to roll a die to see if he advances into one of these spaces. And the answer is no. So he's not going to advance, and then this one won't advance at all. So that's just correcting. It was after combat, advance after combat, so they are a little bit closer to their objective. They had never moved since that turn, so this was an easy retcon to do. The other retcon was with this army up here. It was the 69th Army, and we basically moved them, and I'm not sure if we attacked with them or not. No, I don't think we did. But it's the very first card, so I'm looking at the discard pile here. There was like 1, 2, 3, 4 cards, 5. This was the first card, and this was a brain fart. I immediately just jumped to here and said, let's go. But on turns 1 and 2, they do NKVD operations. That's a very special event that was supposed to happen. So that would have been different than them moving or anything like that. So I looked at the game board, and what NKVD operations is, it's on the player aid here. I just got to grab the right one. Don't mistake it for NKVD combat tactic. This is a Soviet special event. So you're going to take 2 hits to a German unit and adjacent to Soviet units with the most total Soviet combat strength, as if combat occurred. I choose a target, the German target if more than 1 qualifies, and it can't be a city or a town. Then remove 1 step from the Soviet units. Finally, if your units retreated, conduct advance after combat with those units. Okay, so I looked at the video, and while some of these units over here were a little unclear, the big units were not next to anybody. These ones, they were up here in the corner, if you remember. Baby was in a corner. So some of these were in some nice stacks, but they weren't next to anybody. They had to be next to a German unit. The stack that was next to a German unit that was a big deal was this one. The 40th Army. They had 8 strength here. This unit at the time was there. And these 2 units were stacked. And so the point was they can apply 2 damage to the units. So the first damage would have destroyed the improvement marker. The second damage would have made them retreat. So we would have retreated. And then they would have advanced after combat, so the lowest number would have gone in. Then we would have rolled a die for the second one, and he also would have followed suit. So then all 3 of these would have been stacked together. Now, we then later played a white card. I know that because we moved this white unit up to here. So what I would have done then is my original plan. I would have moved back 2 spaces and held the forest. So that's what I would have done. And now we're caught up. So my apologies there. that NKVD special operations, we've done that at least twice now in the playthrough that on part 1 through 5, and even on a playthrough that I've already deleted. I've never made a mistake on that one, although the first time I misunderstood how many hits the Soviets get. Oh, by the way, the Soviets take 1 hit, so it would be this one. The NKVD operations, you can absorb the hits by retreating. But what's funny is that since it's the strongest Soviet stack, it really is helpful to us because you're basically damaging, like in this case, we just damaged a 3-pip unit. And we got to do it without even drawing chits. So, so then after that, the 40th did activate. And if you remember, they didn't move or do anything. Well, what they would have done is they would have moved to at least here, and they would have tried to surround us. So they would have done something like that. And then the extra unit would have tried to come in, but they still wouldn't have been able to attack us. Because remember, they did this assessment on whether or not they could attack us. Now, we don't have the improvement marker anymore. So this would have been 7-6, and it actually would have become 11-6, but that still wouldn't have been enough for them to break, because they needed to get to 2-to-1 odds. And what I'm referring to is they have a reserve unit over here that would try to help them. So my apologies. Those 2 things I just corrected was on the very first part 1 video. We have since done a part 2 video, so a lot of things have taken place since then, and that's sort of what I'm catching you up on. So those blue units never moved since the part 1 video, so we're good there. That was real easy to retcon. This one here, the 69th Army, their very first action was to do this NKVD thing, which we just did. But since then, we've had a white command where we, activated our white units, and that's why I moved back to the woods. And then the 40th Army with the black banner, they also had a command. In fact, right here they are. It was one of the more recent ones that we did. And so that's what I was retconning there. Okay, so where we left off in the last video, we're done with all of our actions. However, I forgot one thing. When we activated our orange units, we were supposed to do a combat right here. So that also needs to be done because we didn't do that. I was so focused on moving these units that I ended my turn. So we got to resolve that combat, and we're at 7-to-1 odds. So they are going to draw a card. They drew fixed artillery, which doesn't do anything for them because they already, well, no, I'm sorry, it does do something for them because normally artillery is only helping them in the offense, but now it helps them on defense as well. But if we look at fixed artillery, there is a comment. Does not apply when the, okay, never mind. It does not apply when the defender is beyond the fixed artillery range or on turns 1 and 2 in the artillery barrage zone. So, if they're in the artillery barrage zone, it doesn't apply to the defender. So they don't get that bonus. So their day is miserable. Okay, the minimum draw is 1 chit, so we're gonna do that because they have 1 pip. Nope. All right, and then we can go up to, it looks like 2 because we didn't play any combat tactics. We just have 2 chits on the attack. And so I'll draw 1 more. So here's the 1 more. They do have a defender adjacent. Oh, you suck. This was 7-to-1 odds. But you know what? We had so much luck. Our luck was eventually going to run out. Now there's another rule. When you have an armor or an infantry to take damage, the armor takes damage first. I don't know why, but it's in the rule. So it was 7-to-1 odds and we lost. All right, I wish I would have forgotten to take that turn. So let's get started on finishing up their round here. So we got 2 ties. The 40th Army is going to activate again. And this one has the command delay. I think there are still 4 cards. Let me check. Yep, there's exactly 4 cards, so I'm going to shuffle it back in. It needs to be less than 4 cards before the command delay stops happening. Okay, this time I will pay more attention, and it is activate. The command value is 2, and we already have our situation. There is a unit that would come in from the reserves, and it would have to go here. So it's 4, 8, 11 to 2, 4, 6. Not quite 2 to 1. So using the 7 rule, the command value is 3, but pay attention here. The dotted line, we're outside of the dotted line, so the artillery is no longer happening, the artillery barrage. So 3 for the command card, 1 because they're supported, there's no auxiliary, there's nothing else. They're not surrounded, we're not surrounded, we're not out of supply. It's not going to happen, so this guy stays off the board. At least for now. And they're not doing anything. That's exactly what they would do. They would try to surround me, but they can't because the woods are preventing them from doing it. I specifically chose that spot for a reason. Okay, next 2 cards are these ones. They're tied. This one wins. That one has command delay, but now we should only have 3 cards. And so it's not happening. It's not going to do the event anymore. So this will be a reinforced battle tactic that gets applied to it. And it's the 69th Army, which is sort of all by itself. Activate all units in the Army. So let's try that. Remember, it's take VP, then it's try to go near their objective, which they can't do. And my camera just hit a bunch of units, so forgive me here. Had to fix that. Okay, so then they're going to keep going, and basically then they were going to protect the Soviet hex, which they don't need to do. So I'm just getting out the movement thing here. Open supply line, cause surround. They can't do any of that. Can they go adjacent to a German unit? That's the question. This guy can only move 4 spaces. 1, 2. That costs 2 movement points. So they can't even get next to a German unit. So if you keep going down, they're going to just follow their movement arrows. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. I guess technically this one's going to be able to get next to a German unit. All of these can actually. So let's see, this one has 3 pips, so that's the only one that can get there. And then 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And technically speaking, because this is a higher number, the 12 would have been there first. And then this one can't do it, so it's going to go closest to the front objective. So it would at least go 1, 2, and it can do this. It can go 3, 4, like that. Or, to be honest, the objective is this way, so it would go 1, 2, 3, 4. That's what it would do. So the 69th Army split up. Now, there is reinforced battle, which is an interesting concept, because what that means is they're going to try to attack this stack, but they get to reinforce. Well, that means one of these 40th Army tokens are going to join them. And it's going to be this one because it's stronger. And so that means they're going to get extra strength. So 3, 6, 9, and 4 is 13 to 2, 4, 6. They do have 2 to 1. But their command card is only a 2. So they start with less overall points. So here we go. They're 2 to 1. So they start with 2 points. They're 2 to 1, so that becomes 4 points. They're in supply, that becomes 5. There is an auxiliary tactic, that becomes 6. So we need to see, is there a 7th reason for them to join this fight? That is the million-dollar question. So I gotta grab this player aid here. That's not it. It's this one. So the command value on this card is 2. Last time it was 3. That's a difference maker. That makes it 4. They're out of range. This doesn't happen. That makes it 2, 4. This makes it 5. Nobody has armor. Nobody's surrounded. Nobody's flanked. That doesn't happen. 6 because of the auxiliary, but right here is 7. There's less than 4 cards in the Soviet draw pile. That makes it 7. That one right there. So they are going to attack. And so they're going to draw one more card. And they ended up getting artillery, and that will apply. So this, they now have 2 combat tactics that are applying. Artillery and reinforced battle. And they have 2 to 1 odds. So now I just got to count up the chips here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because there's a 3-pip one out there. So 5 chits for that, and then 2 more because of the combat tactics. So we're drawing 7. That's a lot. I'm not sure how excited I am about that, but we are. We're drawing 7. So just looking in the cup here to see what my chances are of seeing something that I want to see, and I don't like my odds. All right, so we got 7 tokens coming up. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Just looking at the ones that didn't make it. All right, so is the command 3, 4, or 5? Nope. Is it a 1? Nope. So neither of these apply. It's a 2. Is it 6 to 1 odds? Or 4 to 1 even? Nope. To both. There's no armor involved on either side. It's not a flank attack. It's not a 1-hex attack. There's no combat engineer. It's not dispersed or unsupplied. It is less than 4 to 1. City or attack not supported. There we go. We're in the woods. So we reduced a hit that didn't matter, and we caused 1 hit on them. So I like that. And so that 3-pip unit's the one that's going to take the hit. So the 40th just got even weaker. All right, well, we survived that storm pretty well. And now we're on the final 2 cards. And it is Mobile Group Pop-Off or Mobile Group Pop-Off. So this one will be the primary. It's a C3. And then, of course, this one will do assault coordination, which just means if there's a unit from a different corps, they'll join a battle if they're adjacent to wherever the battle's taking place. Otherwise, we're activating all units in the group. So, remember, Pop-Off just wants to get to the objective. Now, I did block the objective, which is going to make things a little harder. Also, they have surround on that white unit up there, and they're not going to break the surround. So that means neither of these 2 units are going to move, because that would break surround. So we're going to start at the top. Can they take the objective? No. They can't take any objective. 2, can they go after a VP hex that's within 4 of this? The answer is no. I mean, I guess there's 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, they can. They can come down to here. Both of these spaces are within 4 of their objective, which is here. And this VP is near their objective. Now, this objective is not theirs, but this one is. It's still within 4, and this is a VP hex. So they do want to come here as step 2. So we would go, I just want to verify the order. Lowest to highest. So if we start with the lowest number first, there is a 1 here. So he's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then we go to the next highest. And that's going to be the 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we go to 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. He can't make it. So he's not going to do it. These two won't move. Well, actually, one of them can move, but they have nowhere to go. They're actually, they're surrounded themselves. So they can't go anywhere. Then what's the next number? 6. So he would go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then we have 9, which can't get there. He would have to walk around. And then 13 can't leave because that would cause them to lose ground. So that's those movements. But then we got to keep going because number 9 hasn't moved yet, and neither has number 5. So we jump to follow the movement arrows. This guy can't do it. Neither can this one. Then it becomes closest to front. So this is where we're going to do the loop around. So 1, 2, 3. Crossing the river is going to be 4, 5, and then 6. And I don't think there's any under here. Nope. This one is going to move 1. Is it going to be 1? 1, 2, 3. It's just going to move 1. Like so. You could argue that it'll move this way, but it's going to follow the primary path first if it can. So that's it. So now we got to decide, are there going to be attacks? I think for sure there's going to be, this is 8, 11 to 3. That's 3 to 1, so there's for sure an attack here. This is definitely happening. This is 5 to 4, which is just slightly better than 1 to 1. The command value is 3. So we got to go through the checklist. The command value is 3. They're outside of the artillery zone, so I'm going to pull the camera back. Let's do the checklist here. It's 3, no, 4, nope, 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 5. So all they did was get the 5. So that one's not attacking. And then we got this bottom one here, which they actually might attack. 5, 11, they're at 15 to 10. So 15 to 10. And again, they're at 3. No. No. 4. Nope. 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 Oh no, this one's yes. 5, 6. So they're not attacking either. It's just because their command card's too low. The other one would have gotten 1 for this too, but that still wasn't enough to get to 7. So 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, they just needed 1 more point for some other reason. So the pop-off units, they're really powerful. If 1 more unit would have made it down here, they would have done the attack probably because they would have gotten to the 2 to 1. So yeah, it's just the surround situation, and we're gonna have to resolve that. So they don't have a card to draw. So it's just gonna be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These are both 3 pip units here. So they're gonna draw 5 chits, and we're in trouble. We have nothing to help us. We're on a clear terrain. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, well, the good news is there's no air power. They're doing assault coordination, which still would not have helped them. Next is This would have been very nice if we had a defender adjacent, but we don't. They're at 11-3, so 3-1 odds. They are flanking, so they do a damage there. They are at 3-1, so yes. And yes. So look at this. We're taking 1, 2, 3 hits, and they're taking 2 hits. So they're at least going to go down with a fight. The 3 is annoying because if we retreat, we're going to take a hit. So, so for example, we get to retreat twice. This first retreat is in a zone of control that way. So we take a hit because of that. But then the second retreat is safe. So we got that. So that took care of 2 of them. And then their third hit on us wipes the unit out. So it's gone. So they did wipe us out, but here's the key thing of them wiping us out, is it took all 3 hits to wipe us out. So therefore, if they had, like, let's say they had another hit, that would have canceled the hit on them. So while they went down in flames, they went down punching, which is all the more you can ask from them. So they're going to apply 2 hits to them, and they have 2 3-pip units there. And so it's both of these units that take the hits. So 3 pips and 3 pips. So 2 of Popov's units get reduced. And that's a very big deal. So 35 and 57. They go from strength 4 down to strength 3 each. It's not that much of a drop, but they can never go back up. And that's the part that's exciting. So yeah, they drop in strength. Now, they do get to advance after combat, and this one would. And then they can move another space, which isn't defined, but they can just advance 1 more this way, because that's towards the objective. Okay, so that brings us to the end of game turn 1 with the new combat rules. Thank you, Andrew. This game is much more manageable. I was playing this game in a way that made it impossible. And I was pulling my hair out, and I apologize for those of you that had to endure that video where I was just getting so frustrated. This is much more manageable. Look at what I did. I have created a line along the river, which is what I wanted to do. The only objective that I set for myself that I failed to do is I wanted to hold that town, and I didn't hold the town. I feel like some of these spots are really weak, and at the moment they start piling up, they're going to bust through. But I delayed them, because the point is I'm trying to delay them as many game turns as I can until I can get my reinforcements so I can counter-offensive. And that doesn't happen until turn 4. So we just finished game turn 1, and yeah, I have some weak spots here, but as much as I can delay them, I will. And so we're going to move to game turn 2 now. And I'll bring the camera over. So this moves over. We are going to get 4 hand size supplemental cards 4. This goes into the reserve pool. Soviet artillery barrage is still in effect. German supply starts happening, and strategic movement is also active. This card here gets added to the Russian deck, and then we have 1, 2, 3, 4 cards that are added to the supplemental deck. And so for those that are watching, I'm going to turn this camera here. So these 4 GT2 cards, they get added to the supplemental deck right here. Now, the reason why you have to keep track of 2 discard piles is that the primary cards go directly into here, and it's indicated by this arrow. These supplemental cards, you can see, have an arrow going this way. But you got to follow the numbers. The 1 means this happens first. You take your GT2 cards, you move them into here, and then you got to shuffle them. Then the second thing that happens is these cards, after you shuffle them, you draw as many cards that was on the game turn, and that number was 4. So after I shuffle, we're going to draw 4 of these. All right, so here's 1, 2, 3, 4. So there's 2 cards that are still there. We don't know which 2. And then these cards here, on the third step, are going to move over to here, like so. And then the fourth step was to move these cards in, and they get mixed in with the 4 we just drew. And then this will be our draw pile. And we will go through the whole deck, of course, just like we did in the first game turn. And I'm going to draw 1, 2, 3, 4. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4 cards, 5 cards in the draw pile. All right, so the 4 cards that I have are, we got 2 blue, an orange, and a yellow to start the game. So I don't know how good or bad that is. I don't even know which ones I really wanted to have, but I'll take it for now. And let's see, is there anything else we need to do with the new game turn? No, there is not. So the first thing we do is the Soviets go first. So just to recap, we've lost a lot of units, 5 of them. They've lost 0, but we have them contained, at least for the moment. So now I'm going to shuffle the Soviet cards and we're going to draw 2. They're contained for the moment, but that's all. I have some spots I'm very concerned about, and it would be nice to get some engineer events, but I don't know if there are any for us to use. So here we go. I'm drawing 2 cards. Both C1 cards. This one's the lowest, so the 3rd Tank Army unit is activating. And then this one here is command delay, so it's going to get shuffled back in. So the only good news here is that their command card value of being a C1, they're probably not going to attack anything at all. And even worse, they're not even activating all their units. So we'll read it. I don't know if you can read it really well with it laying on the table there. We are activating only 2 unit stacks in the 3rd Tank Army. So we're not even activating all of them, just 2. They can't be in a VP hex, and if there was any reserves, those would be deployed. There aren't any. So they're going to do supplied units is the prefer, not surrounded, and then highest strength. So that's all we need to determine the cards we're going to pick, because it's really going to be this stack, or that one, you know, because those are the only stacks there are. So this is 3, 5, 9. This is 3, 7, and this is 3, 6. So these 2 win because they both have the highest strength. So what do? Well, they're going to take a VP hex. They can't do that. Next, they're going to try to go adjacent to a German unit that's at a VP hex within 4 of their, this is their objective. So this VP and that VP both qualify for this. And any of these spaces, 1, 2, or 3, are within 4 spaces of this. Easy, easy, easy. So when they do that, it's lowest to highest, I believe. Yes, lowest to highest. So that's a number 4. So number 4 would go first. So he has 6 movement. So he would go 1, 2, 3, 4, because he would want to take a spot that's not taken by anybody. Then we have number 6 going next. So he would go here. And then we have number 9 going. Now these ones are trickier because they're in my zone of control. So this is 2 movement points to leave, and then 3, 4. It's not enough, so he can't leave. None of them can. If they were the tanks, they would have been able to leave, and they weren't. So my only question is, did I move this one correctly, or should I stack them up? Let me just look at the rule here, the movement priorities. Oh, between game turns, anybody who is dispersed loses their dispersed marker, but I don't think anybody was. Oh, this one was. So this dispersed marker is gone. That's something that happens between turns. Okay, so it says preferences moving adjacent to enemy units. Applies to all moves ending adjacent to a German unit. Their preferred hex is within their operational limits. Both of them were. Causing a surround. None of them would. In Soviet support. Both of them are. Not adjacent to a Soviet unit. Empty or garrisoned. And then not occupied by active unit. So, so he would go here, because this is occupied, but it's not occupied by an active unit. This one is. So he prefers the non-active unit spot. The unfortunate thing is now we got to say, okay, well, are you going to attack? Well, this one can't help him, and it's a 3 versus 10. That's not happening. This is a 4 versus 8. This is the only interesting one. It's 3, 5, 9 versus 5, which is not 2 to 1. The command card is a 1. So there's just not enough points to do an attack, so nothing happens. They moved around and jostled a little bit, but that's it. Okay, so it's time for us to go. And I'm not sure. I think I want to activate blue. I'm pretty sure that's what I want to do. I can do yellow, which would be dangerous because we'd have to attack across the river. I'm sort of okay with the way I'm positioned. One thing I may want to do is I'm thinking that this 4 strength unit, it'd be nice to move them over, but these are 3 pips here. So this is actually a full stack there. I can't move the white units, or I might want to do that. The purple units can't do. The orange units are interesting, but I like where they are right now. I'm not, there's one orange unit that's you know, in a spot where he's not doing anything because he retreated last time. But we have 2 blue cards, so there's no reason not to do this. So I'm going to go ahead and do the primary blue, because the other one has reinforced battle. We might use that as a combat tactic. And so we're going to activate blue. Okay, so to bring you up to speed, the blue units, of course, are these. And we did take a hit. But we have 4, 7, 9 strength to 1. And I really want to bust them back across the river. So I would like to do that. Last time we did this, we failed. It was 7 to 1, and we ended up taking a hit ourselves. So that sometimes happens. They are in the woods, which could be pesky. But let's do this. They do get to draw a card, and they get fixed artillery as their bonus. And then we have, basically we have 3 chits. Actually, we may have 4. Let's look. One of these is a 3 pipper, isn't it? Nope. Just 3 chits. 1, 2, 3. Why do I have, oh, that must be because they come later. All right, so, and they only have 1 pip. So the minimum draw is 1. We're gonna do that now, and then we can go up to 3. So here we go. There's 1. Greater than 5 to 1, that is certainly true. Greater than 7 to 1, that is also true. So they take 2 damage. Do I dare to draw more? By them taking 2 damage, they're going to retreat twice. They're not going to take any more they're not going to get wiped out or destroyed. They're just going to retreat twice and then become, dispersed. I mean, do I risk it? Because I did this once before, and then I drew like a woods thing that gave him a D-1, and then it made me very upset. We only get to draw 3 chips max, so I can only draw 2 more. And remember, they have artillery, so if I draw an artillery one, they'll hit me. I very much would like to see this unit destroyed. Oh, there's so much risk in this. No guts, no glory, right? No risk, no reward. We got what we wanted. We're pushing them across the river. So why do I want to keep drawing? Because they could just come back. That's why. I'm going to draw 1 more. I get to choose how many more I'm going to draw. If I draw 1 more and it's one of those woods one that reduces their hits by 1, that's fine, because they'll just retreat 1 space instead of 2. They still get kicked across the river. And if they draw an artillery, then that means that we take our hit, but we're only going to take 1 hit. If I took 2 more chips, there's a chance that I could completely negate the hits. So let's just do 1 more. Large attack, no. And right there it is. Greater than 7-1, 2 more hits. We wiped them out. Whew, that was, let's just find out what my next one would have been. I don't think the next one, unless it was damaging us, it would have been this one. So we would have been fine, but it would have just been way overkill. I put that one back in the bag, by the way. But these 2 go in the box. And we succeeded. We knocked them back and wiped them out. So then the question becomes, do I want to advance? And my answer is yes. And I could advance like with this unit, which is a single step unit. And the reason for doing so is now they have to attack. I have zone of control everywhere, and these guys are out of supply. I just cut off their supply by doing what I just did. Now, this is a very weak unit. I should probably move one of my full strength units in and leave the weak unit paired with him like that. So maybe I should do it that way. So I at least have 2 steps on the unit. My attitude though is the weak unit I'm gonna use to protect, because I want the other units to move around and maybe help me elsewhere. That's where my mind is. But I think this is such a powerful spot. So this whole area, they're unable to come across. And there you have it. And it also means that I can leave Slaviansk with my orange unit. I could leave like an infantry behind and not have it be so beefed up. Okay, so that is my card. I am going to draw back up to my hand size here. And we got another yellow. So that's fine. It is now their turn. As long as it's not pop-off, I think we're okay. And there it is. There's pop-off. However, we drew this one. It's the 40th Army. So they are going to activate all units. And the pop-off is going to give them NKVD. So they should see a doctor for that. Okay. The 40th Army is almost shattered. There is 1 unit in the reserves that they can bring with them. And we already know they're not going to move. They're next to a German unit. They're heading towards their goal. So it's just a question of, can they attack or can't they? Their command value is 3. They can bring in this reserve unit, which would go precisely here, because anywhere else they can't get enough movement to get to one of their allies. Actually, I take it back. They could go here, because that would be 2, 4, and they would be next to that ally. Holy crap, that hurts. So they have us surrounded now. Interesting. And I'm just checking a rule for something that came into my mind. Okay. Now this unit will only be here. Oh, by the way, we were supposed to check supply at the beginning of the turn. We were supposed to check supply because it isn't just, hey, let's do... So when a game turn starts, we do the reserve phase, which nothing happened, except one Soviet unit went into the reserve. And then we drew our cards, and then we're supposed to do supply, but only for the German units. And then we place out of supply markers, and then we do what we're doing right now. So the German units are all in supply, because everything that's over here can trace this way. This guy is not in supply. I just lied to myself. So we got to put an out of supply marker. Nope, that guy is in supply because he can trace to a road. I'm sorry, he can trace. He's fine. He's in supply, he's in supply, and then everybody here is in supply, and this one was even in supply until the situation we're in now. So everybody's in supply. So now the question becomes, is this guy going to pop here or not? So that's 3, 6, that'd be 10 versus 2, 4, 6. It's slightly better than 1-to-1 odds. Let's figure out what NKVD is doing for them, other than making them see their doctor. Increase hits incurred by the defender by 1. So that means we would get an automatic hit if this combat tactic is used against us. All right, so what did we say? It was 10 to 6. So we got to do our little 7-point check. The command card is worth 3. The ratio is not 2-to-1. There's no artillery barrage. It is in support, so that's 4. There's no armor. The unit's out of supply, so that's 5. There's no VP hex. There is an auxiliary card, that's 6. It is not 7. So this does not happen. This goes back to the reserve. So we're on the verge of being surrounded every time, but it doesn't quite happen. And we're holding that, that forest pretty well, at least so far. Okay, so they don't do anything, so their turn's over, which is good. That's 2 turns in a row, I think, where they basically did nothing. So now we get to go, and I'm thinking I want to activate the orange units. I think I do. Sorry, my mind is still thinking what to do. Okay, so I have 2 yellow cards, which is great, but I don't know if I want to do anything with my yellow units. I think I want to just leave them right where they are. So then I have another blue card. I could try to attack across the river, but when I do, they get to cancel a hit. And they're also in the woods, and I have them out of supply at the moment. So I may not want to do that. So I'm thinking about activating orange. Now, here's why. This unit can move up to help attack that town. This unit can stay here. Oh, that one's damaged. So I would use the infantry unit to help attack this. So we're at 7, 10 to 6, which is not great odds. But I have a reinforced battle I can use where I can bring the 4 around to make it 14 to 6, or I can just bring the 2 to like here, and now it's 12. 7, 10, 12 to 6. So now we're at 2-to-1. To do that would cost me a card, so I'd be paying a reinforced battle card. So I was thinking of doing that, and then I was thinking of also adding air power to try to give us a chance at taking this thing down. We can't flank a town or a city, so even though I have flanking that won't apply. But here's the thing, I have one unit that's on the other side of the river, and so I don't get the river penalty. Now the town or city, they are gonna block one hit. Now, if I just waited a little bit longer, I guarantee you they're gonna abandon that VP city because they wanna move towards the objective, and there's, well, they may not actually. Yeah, they would, because they would have moved this way. They would surround this guy here and they would leave the city to come here and basically attack this guy. So it's a very risky thing to do. I mean, do I think I'm going to win with just 2-to-1 odds? I mean, there's so many chips in there that you're going to take a hit if you don't have at least 3 or 4-to-1 odds. Plus, I'm discarding 3 cards of my hand to do this. And I don't know if I want to do that either. How strong is this unit? It's a full strength unit. Wow, I don't know what to do. I mean, part of me wants to do this attack, but I can see all the possibilities that this is going to backfire. And I know if I am patient and if I do wait, the problem is if there's enough units here, they're going to wipe this unit out. And then it opens a hole. You know what? I'm going to do it. So I'm going to play 3 cards. We have Reinforced Battle, Air Power, Panzer Battalion. The minimum chit draw is going to be 2 plus 2 is 4. The maximum is 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I played 2 combat tactics, so the maximum is 6. We're going to draw 4, but the maximum is 6. I'm playing a lot of cards here, but I'm nervous. My odds 2-to-1 are not good, but I do at least have 2-to-1, and we're gonna draw 4, huh? So here we go. 1, 2, 3, and 4. All right, so my command card, I didn't even check. It is probably not a 5. It's just a lowly 2. At least it's not a 1. Okay, are they in the woods or broken? Nope. Nope. 3-to-1, nope. Less than 2-to-1, no. Attack command 5, no. 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 Not a single dang one applied to either. I can draw 2 more. Holy cow, this is really annoying. So 5-to-1, no. Large attack is defined as 6 chits, and that one does apply. And artillery, we don't have artillery. We took air power, didn't we? Is there any air power ones in there? Yes, there was. Dang you. Well, we both take a hit. I think I'm okay with that because them taking a hit means they retreat. So they won't damage when they retreat because there's an empty path right here. And us taking a hit could be as simple as, well, the rules say it has to be an armor. And I'm going to go back and check that. But it's right here in the player aid for assigning hits. Assigning German step loss to one of your unit of your choice. However, the first step loss must be a 3-step unit or armor unit, if any. So the armor had to take the hit. over the infantry. And then the question becomes, let's move after combat. So I'm going to move all 3 of these in. Well, the question is should I move this one in? By leaving him here, I get zone of control over this spot here, so they can't like cut across the river. I actually like that. I'm going to move this one in instead. So we have 3 units in the town, and we took the town back. Woo! They're back down to 2 victory points. So the first scenario of the game is to just play through 2 game turns. And I think if you hold them to 9 points or less at the end of game turn 2, that's considered a victory for the first scenario. It's literally the way the scenarios work is the first scenario is the first 2 turns, and then the second scenario is like 6 or 7 turns. So they're just portions of the full game. If I do hold them to 9 points before the end, they got a giant stack of actions they're still going to do. Let's not get ahead of ourselves here. But if I did hold them to less than 9, that would be at least considered a victory for these first 2 turns. And it would also be redeeming because it's evident that if I would follow the combat rules correctly, thank you, Andrew, then clearly there's a game to be had here. This is a lot more fun as a solo player. I feel the tension. I'm trying to hold on. I'm making tough choices. I did take a step loss, but I did that to save this, I thought. But in a way, I didn't, because those units didn't take any damage. All they did was retreat. But taking back that town, I now have a very solid fortress that they can't get past. And that part I do appreciate. They're not crossing the river all the way down until they wipe him out. He's the weakest spot in the river right now. And even when they go further down, this is the only spot where they can cross. Right here. They could literally just go boop, right across. That would cost 2 movement points for the armor, but they could do it. The thing is this is not an objective. Right? It's an objective, but it's not a VP hex. Which their movement does, they want to move towards the objective, but that's like much, much later. So, okay. Not bad. I'm going to draw 3 cards to get back to my hand, which is almost the entire deck. So we're going to end up playing nothing but Soviet action cards soon. And we drew a purple and 2 whites. Combat Engineers is a good one. There you go. Event Engineers right there. We can get our... that looks like what we're going to be doing next turn for sure. Unless they do something crazy to us here. Let's see if they're going to do something crazy. Draw 2 cards. We have 2 C3s. And the pop-off unit is the lower. They have air power. This one, by the way, was the special NKVD operations again, which would have worked for them. But this is the lower number. And then the combat tactic, unless they don't do a battle, this card will be discarded. The NKVD, I sort of like it because we know that whatever unit they have in their strongest stack is going to take a damage. So that's what I like about it. But that does mean that we have to take hits too, and it'll force us to retreat or whatever. So activate all units and group pop-off. So it is a C3, so they're in the middle of the road on whether or not they're going to be able to attack. So first thing, take an objective. I'm sorry, not the objective, but the victory hex. They're not going to do that. Like I said, these units could move 1, 2, and then 2 for the river, 3, 4, 5, 6. They are actually within movement points of this objective. So that means the objective moves. We roll for the next one. All they have to do is be proximate. Proximate meaning they could move there if they used all their movement points. So that one gets triggered. And I apologize if I should have triggered this earlier. I didn't realize that there was a unit within movement range of it. And let's go ahead and what you do is you roll a die. we rolled a 7. The old spot was, I believe, 1608 or 1609. And then what you do is you just look at this chart here. And 1608 was the original. We rolled a 7, so the new goal is Pavlograd. So their objective, even though they didn't actually move a unit there, is going to move down to here. So they're still going in that same general direction, just a little deeper now. But it also means that these VP points, they don't care about them anymore. Because remember, they cared about VP points that was near the objective. And so this next movement phase is exactly that. None of these are near their objective anymore. So they don't give one rat's butt about it. So that's the part that you have to be mindful of. And they're actually going to pour across the river, is what I'm going to announce. Because after we do their movement here, there's no more VP hex they're concerned about. There's no supply line issue for them. There is one that if they moved to a spot, so it says move to a hex that enables moving unit or unit in active front, unable to trace supply to do so. So we do have to help. I have one unit pinned, and that's this one up in the corner. So this guy here, it's highest to lowest, so it'd be this one. He can move 1, 2, 3, and now this one will have supply because he can go through a friendly unit even though we have zone of control. So he's moving backwards. But that is a priority, is to give supply to other units. So that would work for him. Everybody else, though, their eye is on the prize. So if we skip the spearhead stuff, we go to the movement arrows. So they must follow their movement arrows. Nobody can do that. I don't even think this guy can. Nope, his movement arrows are going into the town. So then the last one is they got to get closer to the front objective. So the front objective is way down here now. But these two units can. They can move 6 spaces. They can go 1, 2, and then 3, 4 because of the river, 5, 6. So they just moved closer to the objective and they made it across the river. This one, same thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's too much, so we'll go 6 to there. This one can go 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't know if that helped him. I don't think it did. This one can go 1, 2, because they were in 3, 4, 5, 6. I guess you could argue 6. And then this one would be 1, 2, 3, 4. Or 1, 2, 3, 4, like so. And then this one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then it has to stop because it can't cross the river. And like I said, they don't care about the German units. Now these ones stop near the German unit here, so it's 3, 8, 11 to 4. So it is 2 to 1. Their command card is a 3, so let's check. This is actually going to be close. We're in the woods. I don't think that matters. No. So 3 command value. They are 2 to 1, so that becomes 5. The artillery barrage does not count. 6, and then the auxiliary card is 7. So they are attacking. And they're going to use their auxiliary, so the NKVD operations is not going to happen. And yeah, Popov made it through. Their spearhead did what spearheads do. They busted through the line. And oh man, it is so hard to keep them contained. And I think we did a good job. Now you're going to see carnage. and we're going to start going out of supply and all these other problems. But for now, we're at least holding strong on the Kharkov side and on the Slavyansk side, and I think we might be okay. Let's see. All right, so this particular attack, I do have concerns. Do I want to help them? If I do combat engineers, what does that do for us? I would rather do it for the engineering bonus. But combat engineer, I get to place an IP marker on. So basically they can absorb a hit. I do want an IP marker there. That's the whole reason I want to play combat engineers, is to give them an IP marker. I wanted to give some other ones an IP marker too, but I do want to give that particular unit an IP marker. So that way nobody can cross that bridge. That was going to be my next action. So, okay. If I wait and play this card, I can place 3 IP markers, not just one. One of the 3 was going to be exactly this unit that's being attacked. The other one was actually going to be this purple unit, and then the third one was going to be the white unit over there, because I think that would be very powerful. The 3T tank army still wants to bust through the lines, and our weakest spot right now is purple. But if I wait to play this card, this unit may get obliterated, and then I don't have a choice anymore. I won't have any defense of that spot. And then these 3T units might just boom right around, because they don't care how they get to their objective, as long as they can get closer. Ooh. The only thing that's going for me is several times now, these guys have failed to attack. So I'm going to choose the engineer card. I'm going to play it. And we're going to put the improvement marker on right now. So that'll block a hit. All right, so let's go. They get to draw another card themselves. And they drew intelligence, which is awful. I hate intelligence. Intelligence, when they're attacking, is... their command value is now a 5. Well, that's not so bad. It's when the intelligence is on defense. That's when it's really bad. But the command value 5 stinks, because if we draw the chit that says command value 5 on it, well, here, there's one sitting right here in the bin. Command value 5, 2 hits. Screw you. All right, but the intelligence got reshuffled back in, so you heard me shuffling there. All right, so here's their draw. They're going to draw 1, 2, 3, 4, and then they have 2 command tactics for 5, 6. So they're drawing 6, and we have combat engineers, and that's it. Right, we just have combat engineers. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I just got to get one more here. Six. What is the odds? So it was 3. So there's 2 to 1. 2 to 1. Okay. So no artillery. We're out of their barrage artillery range, but it does mean that these go back in the bag. 5 to 1. Nope. NKVD. Nope. 6 to 1. 8 to 1. Neither of those. Less than 3 to 1. Yes. Attacker takes a hit. Greater than or equal to 2 to 1, yes. Greater than 4 to 1, no. Less than 3 to 1, yes. Oh my gosh. That worked out. I was hoping we were going to draw some woods protection. So this hit is blocked by our improvement. I think the improvement gets destroyed when we take that hit. I'm pretty sure. So the improvement blocked the hit, and then they're going to take 3 hits, that's brutal. Let me check the... Yep, that's one of the ways it gets removed. So the improvement marker did its job. it absorbed 1 hit, which was exactly what we needed it to do. So that was the right call. And the fact that we got 3 hits on them was unexpected, but glorious at the same time. So that means all 3 of them, no, it does not. One of them takes a hit. It's going to be the 3-pipper. So this guy is gone forever. 41G. So another 3-pipper bites the dust. Okay, but then what's going to happen next is we're going to do that table. There's 2 hits left, and we have to count the pips. So there's 2, 4, 6 pips left. So we come back to here. There's 2 hits remaining on a 6-pip unit. They're going to take 2 damage unless there was less than 4 cards in the thing, which there aren't. So they are going to take the next 2 hits. And remember, the same unit can't get hit twice, so that means this one's taking a hit. And this one's taking a hit, like so. So there we go. 1, 2, I'm sorry. That's quite a reduction for them. And then all the combat chits go back into the bag. All right, that was a decent outcome. I was a little sad that I had to play the engineering card, but I'm pretty happy with that. That was the right call to do. Okay, and then the fact that we ended up hitting back was even better. All right, so I was thinking about, okay, what am I going to do with my actions here? There's very little I can do about these guys who broke through. They're basically the jail wall has fallen down. I'm not going to be able to keep the prisoners in. They're going to run and start taking victory points and making my life miserable. Like, I could try to activate the yellow units and maybe try to, like, swing around and block them. I got 6 movement points, so, like, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I mean, that's all the better I can do. And then I put zone of control this way. Well, then they just go around me. I mean, it's not going to matter. I mean, they went across a river, for Pete's sakes, to avoid me. So that part, I'm not going to play yellow. I'm not going to play purple because currently the purple units are where I want them to be. So I'm going to play white. And I'm going to activate all the units. And if you recall, we've had several scares where they almost encircled me. And if they would have just had a high enough command card, they would have. So this is their objective. So I'm just going to move everybody. 1, 2, 3, and we're going to go back to the city and hold the city. The city blocks a hit. And then them trying to attack across the river will also block a hit. Now, the one problem is they could, for example, try to cross the river over here. So this was 3 movement, and so now I'm going to make that 4. And I could reduce them even more and do something like that. Because somehow if they got through the woods or whatever, they could try to cross here, and then they would be able to attack me there. The problem with this strategy is now I'm only a 2-strength unit. I'm going to at least make them a 4-strength unit there. Now, the purple units holding this VP, if he came back, that would be great, but then I'm giving up a victory point. So that's some of the challenge I have with this. But and when they start to surround the city, they're going to take this hex, they'll take this one, and then they could, if they had enough movement points, you know, from here, 2, 3, 4. That's enough. So if they started here, they would go 1, 2, 3, 4. They can get right across the river, and there's nobody stopping them. So there are some holes in this strategy. The other way I could do it is just put this guy here, and then, but now they got 1, 2, 3. You see what I mean? And then 4. They can get in that way. So this prevents them. They can move across the river, yes, but then they got to attack this guy. But here's the thing. A stack here and a stack there against a 2-strength unit is brutal. So holding Belgorod is hard, is really what I'm trying to say. Maybe I should just stay in the woods, because when I'm staying in the woods, I'm really blocking them. You know what? I'm staying in the woods. So far, they haven't spawned, and I'm going to stay there and just make them miserable. So what am I going to do with my white card then? Let me take it back. It says I can activate any 1 unit. I don't even know if I need to activate any 1 unit at this point. You know what? I'm still going to activate white. Maybe I can attack them. I don't know. Let's see. I have 2, 4, 6 points. This is 3, 6, 9. No, there's no attacking going on there. That's suicide. I would love to do an improvement marker. I would love to do something. I feel like I'm passing. I mean, I could activate my units and just do nothing. And that's really what I'm doing here. If I activated purple, I could retreat a little bit. So, for example, with purple here, I'm holding on to a clear spot. Broken is a tad bit better, so I could go back 2. I still have zone of control, and they have zone of control. And if they tried to attack me, I get to cancel a hit. Now, they do have the ability to cross here, and they will. If the opportunity strikes itself for them, because they're trying to surround this unit here. Actually, yeah, they are. I'm not going to move that either. Oh, gosh. What am I going to do? I could take this unit and... Ooh. We could surround a whole set of units up there if we wanted. These guys haven't activated yet. And that's a whole set of troops that have strength. And it's not fun, the type of strength that they have. The unit that's in Slavyansk, the orange unit there, I could try to activate that. He's not necessarily doing anything by protecting that hex at the moment. I could move purple all the way to Kharkov, but I don't want to do that. Yeah, I'm passing. I don't think there's anything to do here. So I'm at 1 hour and 17, so I'm going to go ahead and pause for now. And then when I come back, it'll be peanut butter German time. I'm sorry, peanut butter Russian time. And we'll see what they're going to do. Part of me is just, yeah, I'm still... The pop-off units are the threat. So the less pop-off units we see, the better. And there's still a lot of pop-off cards in this deck. I know there are. I'm almost out of cards. So I'm drawing the last card out of the deck. I'm not even at my hand limit. I only have 3 cards left. I don't feel like I have enough strength to do anything to them. All I have is enough strength to just hold on to what little I have. So this is no different than the other 2 playthroughs, but I am doing way better than the other 2 playthroughs at this point in the game. Like I said, they're busted out. This is going to cause me problems, but for now I'm okay. I just gotta not be stupid. Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? If this guy was able to take Kharkov, he would have, because the first step is take a enemy city, right? If that was the case, then I would need to activate purple or somebody and get back to Kharkov. By the way, I'm declaring that right now, that if I'm too stupid to defend Kharkov, I'm retconning it, so I do. I just freaking passed, for Pete's sake. And I didn't do any action. So this is my chance to do it. So if there's something on here that I don't see that would allow somebody to just stroll into Kharkov without even a battle, that is not going to be allowed. I can't deal with that. I will rage quit. All right. Thanks for watching. Please stay healthy, everybody. And as always, stay awesome.